How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
What up, everyone? That's a really small video. Why am I so small? Why am I not in the middle of the screen? There I am. Okay, I know how this works. I am a professional. I am a professional at streaming on the internet. Believe it or not, isn't that crazy? Isn't that I got a PhD and then I became a streamer on the internet. And then I got obsessed with radical revolutionary socialism, and then I became an undercover journalist, and then I watched more socialism than any anti-communist on the planet, and then I went crazy. And here we are. And then I started a cult on the internet, the cult of the anti-communist, and now you are all in my cult. And all we do all the time is watch socialism and talk about socialism and cry about socialism and try to recruit other people into our cult to watch socialism with us. Yeah. It is funny how life turns out. If we don't laugh, we'll cry. It is funny how life turns out. Yeah. You never quite know. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Oh, wow. Yeah, I just went there. Okay. Guess what? It's only Tuesday. Guess what? We're going to be watching a lot of socialism for the rest of the week. We haven't even started Socialism Week yet. We're just getting into it. And tonight, we're actually going to be doing 3 different streams. And they are all going to be 3 separate streams because I like keeping the videos separate so that people can find them later. I don't want to have to go back and edit them. So it will actually be 3 separate streams. We're going to do a spy stream, And then we've got a little time before the spy stream. The spy stream doesn't actually start for like 50 minutes. I have other stuff I want to show you. So we're going to do a spy stream. Spy stream's going to get over around 7 o'clock tonight. We are going to stop that stream. Then I'm going to start another stream, and we're going to watch the classic socialism episode that we were originally supposed to watch at 5 today, but then this spy stream got scheduled, so I had to move it around. So we are still going to do our classic socialism episode because we're going to be watching a crazy one, and I don't want to miss it. And then we're going to stop that stream, and around 9:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight, we are retiring into the supporter enclave on the internet, where we are going to do a supporter-only spy stream going inside a radical revolutionary socialist organizing call. And I could have just done the 2 spy streams, but I decided to fit another one in there too because I am a glutton for punishment. And why not? So we're going to be doing 3 separate streams today. And you can find the schedule for our full week of Socialism Conference streaming for people who do not know. We are winding our way towards the beginning of the Socialism 2025 conference, which will start streaming from Chicago on Thursday evening. And leading up to Thursday, we're watching some classic socialism episodes just to introduce people who may have more recently found my content to some of the content that we've covered in the past. Because, you can't always, I have a massive archive of content. Like, how do you even start going through my archive of content? Because I actually do legitimately need to figure out a way to make this easier. But like, I have thousands of hours of socialism content. It is not a joke. And so sometimes people can't go back and watch the old episodes, so we have to bring the old episodes back up again. And thankfully, now we know the good presentations to watch. Like, when I first started doing socialism content, we were fumbling around. We didn't really know what to watch or any of this stuff. Well, we figured it out. And now I know the good ones to go back to when we need to introduce people to new ideas. And you can find the full schedule that we'll be streaming over on the Substack. Let me put this, pop it in the chat. Yeah, I'm like the Library of Congress, but for socialism. It's true. Yeah. Yeah, unironically, that's actually what I'm trying to build with the Center for Left-Wing Studies. Unironically, I've actually started a nonprofit to do this. I don't know, I haven't talked about it much. I'm going to start talking about it more after this week. But unironically, did you guys know I technically started a nonprofit called the Center for Left-Wing Studies literally to do this? True story. You're going to be able to give me tax-free money. Won't that be awesome? Anyway, so this is our schedule for this week. You can see we've got our Tuesday schedule. Wednesday, tomorrow is going to be the lightest day. We're only doing 1 episode because Thursday, we're really jumping into it. We are going to start streaming at 5 p.m. on Thursday. We're going to watch a couple classic episodes. The Socialism Conference officially kicks off at 8:30 p.m. Then we're going all day Friday and all day Saturday. You thought you had a plan to go to a barbecue? No, you do not have a plan to go to a barbecue. You aren't going to no parade. You're coming here. You're going to sit down. You might get some beer. I think beer would actually be pretty recommended at this point. We're going to be watching about 24 hours of socialism in a 48-hour period. If you want to drink, you do what you got to do. If you don't drink, that's fine too, whatever. But you're not doing anything fun for 4th of July weekend. You're going to come and sit here and watch socialism with us, and you're going to drive yourself insane, and it's going to be great. And it's going to be one of those things. It's do you guys know when people were doing what were those tough guy races called that were popular a couple years ago? Something warrior, you go and do a race in an obstacle course. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? These things were really popular several years ago, right? Anyway, basically what we're doing this weekend is the tough guy obstacle course race of watching socialism. It's you're gonna hate it. It's gonna fucking suck. You're going to be complaining. You're going to be crying. You're going to get depressed, but you're actually going to love every minute of it. No, I'm not talking about Ninja Warrior. I'm talking about the races that people would go do where they would run in the mud. Spartan race. Yeah, something like Spartan race. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is the Spartan race version of watching socialism. You don't want to do it, but you do want to do it because you want to challenge yourself to do it. Tough Mudder. That's the one I was trying to think of. That's the one. Yeah. This is the Tough Mudder of socialism this weekend. The Highland Games. Exactly. That's the right attitude. We know it's going to suck, but we want it to suck. We want to see how much suck we can take because it's actually going to be awesome. And we're going to see a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah, like an Iron Man competition. Exactly. We are the Iron Man competition of socialism on the internet this weekend. No one is going to watch more socialism than us. And it may or may not be a good idea. But you know what? Especially if you're new, this is going to be actually awesome. Yeah, we are Tough Mudder without the E. coli. Yeah, exactly. So that is what we're doing this week, guys. And we're going to be doing just streams leading up to that throughout the week. Tonight for Spy Stream, which is going to get started in about 45 minutes, but I have other things we can talk about until then. We're going inside a more estate level organizing call. This is the Working Families Party, which is a more like Democrat socialist type party where they do run people in elections. They do actually oftentimes win elections, but they do have more post-capitalist sensibilities. So this is they're not radical revolutionary socialists. They still believe in working in the electoral process. So they're more akin to like another version of the Democratic Socialists of America. And they are having a meeting in Rhode Island called Run Like Zohran. And I almost wasn't going to do this, even though they do have a state senator and 2 state reps on the call. I almost wasn't going to do this, except that the New York's DSA co-chair and one of the leaders on the Mamdani campaign, he's actually going to be speaking on the call. So I want to hear from that Mamdani, that Mamdani campaign guy on this call. That's really the interest that I have in it. That's going to be from 6 to 7 tonight. Hey, no mayo, embrace the suck. Yeah. See, that's the right attitude. You know what? Listen, I have worked for years. To cultivate a community with this attitude. This is exactly correct. We don't run, like most people when it comes to watching the left, you guys see them in the chat all the time. They come in and they're like, this is hard. Why are your videos so long? They're funny. They're mentally ill. They're insane. I don't want to do this. Why are we doing this? Why can't we do something else? Why can't you make shorter videos? I don't want to spend this much time watching it. I'm not going to watch a 4-hour masterclass. It's like, I have spent years listening to that shit. And now I have finally, at long last, cultivated an audience that understands. We don't whine. We don't complain. We're not like conservatives on the internet that run away crying when they don't get their way or they get their feelings hurt or something like that. We embrace the suck. We do what's required. And, we commiserate together in a productive way. Yeah. So thank you, Suzanne. Suzanne in with the first super chat of the day. And that actually is going to get us into our total because I'm trying to raise $1,000 in super chats for our socialism week. So we're just doing a big old total. And you know what? We're already up to over 25% of the way there. So thank you guys for the support. I do appreciate it. Another way you can support my work is by heading over to the Substack, which is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com, and signing up as a supporter for $8 a month, $80 a year. I am 100% funded by people like you. I do not have any political masters. I will not work for any political party or anything like that. And what that means is my only job is to tell you the truth and to show you the receipts, and that's it. And you get to decide for yourself, and you will always have the full context, and you will always have evidence to back up every single thing that I say. And the way I'm able to make that possible is because people like you fund my work through memberships on the Substack and also through super chats that you send in on the channel. And this week, I would like to raise some money. Just because there is actually some stuff I want to do in the back half of the year, and it would be nice just to be able to plan for that stuff. So I'm trying to meet 2 different goals this week, guys. Goal number 1 is $1,000 in super chat. You can also send Power Chat, Cash App, Venmo, whatever. The information is in the description. I will have some QR codes on the screen if you want to use that. All that will count to the goal. We're already making some good progress there. The other goal I really want to meet is 100 new supporters on my Substack, my main one, karlyn.substack.com. That's for $8 a month or $80 a year. And the reason I want to do that is having the monthly or annual support. Like, I love super chats. Don't ever stop sending in super chats. Like, you can send in as many super chats as you want, and that's totally fine. But like, what really makes it a lot easier for me is to be able to plan out how much monthly support I have and how much annual support I have. And so it just allows me to know how much money I definitely have coming in. And, if I need to do other stuff, I need to figure out other things to fund the rest of it. And that's just the way it goes because things in the world cost things. And so I do prefer people to sign up on my main Substack. There are tons of other ways to support my work, but I would love to get 100 new paying members of the Substack this week, just because we're doing a ton of content this week. And like, shocker to me, actually 11 of you have signed up in like the past day or so. So we're already like 11% to our goal on the Substack membership, which is actually pretty great. I didn't expect that many people to sign up yesterday because I didn't really talk about it. So I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for supporting me and allowing me to do this. And I will show you more crazy shit on the internet than anyone else. And guess what? Today is a perfect time to sign up as a supporter because the spy stream that we're going to be doing at 9:30 p.m. is a supporter exclusive stream. So the only way you get access to this stream is if you are a supporter on my Substack, on my locals, on my Patreon, YouTube channel member, or ex-subscriber. And if you are a supporter on any of those platforms, you already have access to the spy stream information because I posted it. So if you're a YouTube channel member, you can go into the community tab or the post tab, whatever it's called, I forget. And you can find the stream that we're going to do later. If you're on the Substack, you find the information there. If you're on locals or Patreon or X subscriptions, you find posts on that platform that will tell you where to join us later for Spy Stream. And I've already sent that information out. So you can access that now if you want to become a member on the YouTube channel or you want to do the Substack. Either is fine with me or any of the other ones too. But I appreciate everyone who signs up to support my work. And supporter Spy Streams are sometimes one of the perks that people get as an extra benefit of doing that. So we've got a little bit of time before we get into our spy stream, just because we started a little early, which is okay. I do have a couple things I want to talk about though. And we might have a video that I want to watch. Does anyone want to make fun of Constantine Kisin? Does anyone want to shit on Constantine Kisin? I kind of want to a little bit. And the reason that I want to is not just that Constantine Kisin has run around the internet calling me insane. It's that Trigonometry posted a video earlier today. The real reason socialism is on the rise. Is anyone else kind of dying to know what Constantine Kisin thinks the real reason socialism is on the rise is? I think we are entitled and I think we are obligated to this information. And I think we're going to watch this video. It's only about 7 minutes long, which means it will inevitably take me about half an hour to rip apart. And we're gonna see what Constantine has to say. I mean, listen, man, I guess there is a universe in which maybe Constantine Kisin said something smart. Maybe there is a universe in which Constantine Kisin made a rare, valid point. You know, we always leave room for that. Even though Constantine Kisin has lied about me on the internet, even though Constantine Kisin has run around literally on more than one post saying, that bitch is literally insane. She is a narcissist. She is literally crazy. Even though Constantine Kisin has unethically lied about me all over the internet, even though Constantine Kisin never paid attention to what we were doing here, even when my community was sending it to him, even though Constantine Kisin pretends to be an intellectual when in fact I think he's a midwit at best, you know, we always leave space because sometimes people surprise you and sometimes stupid people make valid points too. And we have to leave room for that. We're going to be the intellectually honest corner of the internet. And that's what it's going to be. But I want to watch this video, and that's going to be what we do to kill time between now and the start of Spy Stream. And you know, I heard about this Candace Jubilee thing. People have been sending it to me. Maybe we'll watch it at some point. I heard she talked to a queer Marxist. I mean, it's probably a good idea. But let's just see what happened, and we will start Spy Stream in about half an hour. And if you don't want to watch this, then you can leave and come back. All right, everyone, calm down. So let's see what Constantine had to say. If my browser wants to work. Come on! Oh, why are you doing this to me? Okay, it worked. Paid promotion. All right. Everyone mount the like button for me.
Why socialism is on the rise.
Hang on. I'm sorry. That was way loud. That was way fucking loud. Hang on.
In the wake of Zohran Mamdani's win in the Democratic primary for mayor of New York, there's been a glut of commentary from people who didn't see it coming, attempting to understand what is happening. Some, like investor and former trigonometry guest Bill Ackman, argue that Mamdani is a uniquely talented retail politician who outworked the competition. In this conception, his policies
Well,
were not the
yeah,
determining factor.
that's actually
Others, like fellow
a
investor
good
Tyler
point.
Winklevoss, believe that it's simply time for young people to be reminded of the realities of socialism. According to this view, indoctrinated at school and university and let down by parents who failed to prepare them for the real world, millennials and Gen Z just won't wake up until they face the reality.
Why in the ever-loving fuck are we looking to people like Bill Ackman, who wasn't even aware of most of this stuff like less than 2 years ago, and Tyler Winklevoss, who is, I don't know, the best known for being an evil villain in a movie? Like, why are we looking to these people for advice on why the Democratic Socialist won? What do they even know about it?
Of Mamdani's insane policies, like government-run grocery stores and rent freezes. Others still take a dimmer view of the next generation, proclaiming that Mamdani won because of vibes. The center-left, on the other hand, consoles itself with the notion that he was up against a terrible candidate in Andrew Cuomo. All of these people are right, and all of them are wrong. It's true that Mamdani appears to have the common touch, but many people who do are unable to produce the stunning victory he achieved. It's true that young people do not understand the history of socialism and have little idea of just how terrible the consequences of Mamdani's policies will be.
You know, this is one of the right's bullshit talking points. Young people just don't understand the history of socialism. We're the ones who understand. It's the young people who don't understand. Let me tell you what. The socialists that we watch spend most of their waking hours studying the history of socialism. That's just fact. Everything they do is around educating themselves about socialism. They spend all their time reading socialist books. They spend all their time analyzing the Russian Revolution. We are about to watch hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of them this week, learning about socialism. And guess what? They're going to do historical sessions too, because digging into education about what happened in the past so they can do the revolution better this time is one of the things they talk about an awful lot. So there is no universe in which Constantine Kisin knows more about socialism than the socialist activists we watch. And guess what? They are well aware of the things that have happened in the past. And here's what they think. They're going to do it differently next time because they've studied the mistakes of the past. Now, you can disagree with them. I certainly disagree with them. I think that's foolish at best. But that is what they think. It is not as though they are unaware. They literally say it's been done wrong for reasons X, Y, B, and Z. They relitigate this stuff all the time. They know how they want to do it differently. They talk about it. Is it going to work? No, of course it's not going to fucking work. But that doesn't mean that they aren't aware of what socialism is. So again, this is one of those things where it might seem like a nitpicky point, but this is a key example of how the right has no effing idea what they are talking about when it comes to the left. They just make shit up that sounds good.
It's true that vibes were a powerful force in this election. But politics has always been about vibes. The elections of Barack Obama and President Trump were about vibes too. And yes, it's true that Cuomo is a terrible candidate who's facing allegations of sexual harassment, as well as scrutiny for his disastrous decisions during the pandemic. But that doesn't explain the popularity of Mamdani, only the unpopularity of Andrew Cuomo. The reality is that none of these variables on their own are sufficient to explain the rising popularity of socialism.
Hey, I just want to do a quick poll in the chat. We watched the DSA organizing call literally yesterday, okay? So we know exactly and explicitly what the DSA did to win that primary election. They had over 30,000 activated volunteers. They knocked on over 1.3 million doors. They made 2.6 million phone calls, something like that. They were out there beating the streets and they profiled non-active voters. They went after inactive voters, people who weren't active as their target audience. They saw a massive increase in inactive voters, people who never voted before. That they targeted specific people, like in white neighborhoods, Latino neighborhoods. They took us through the whole plan yesterday on the stream. You can go back and watch it. Let me ask you this. I want everyone to predict with me. One in the chat if you think that Constantine Kisin is going to mention anything relating to DSA organizing. 2 in the chat if you think that Constantine Kisin isn't going to mention DSA organizing at all in his analysis of why Zohran Mamdani won the mayoral nomination. 1 in the chat if you think that Constantine Kisin is going to do the work we just did yesterday and actually listen to them talk about explicitly how they did it. 2 in the chat if you think Constantine Kisin is going to make a bunch of shit up that has nothing to do with reality because he has no fucking clue what he's fucking talking about, motherfuckers. Okay, I see a lot of 2s in the chat. Let's see. Maybe we're all wrong. We're probably all wrong. Yeah, it was vibes. Yeah, vibes.
In many Western countries, or more specifically, many large Western cities. Every comedian has to learn this lesson the hard way. You may have great jokes, but people will only laugh if they agree with the premise of those jokes. The fact that for at least a decade our schools and universities have acted as work madrasas is sufficient to prime young
Revolutionary
people for
Communists of
receptivity to
America.
Socialism. But it does
Different
not
group,
explain
by the way.
why the ideas are landing as hard as they are. So why is socialism becoming popular? I tried to remind my conservative friends of this at the end of my speech at the first ARC conference when I said, "Many of you here are conservatives. I'm not. I look terrible in tweed. That's
not
why
funny.
I identify as politically non-binary. But I can tell you conservatives something. You will never get young people to want to conserve a society and an economy that is not working for them. We will not overcome woke nihilism as long as young people are locked out of the housing market, unable to pair up, unable to have kids, unable to plan for the future." Born in 1982, I am what you might call a geriatric millennial. I entered the workforce in 2003 and worked solidly for over a decade, making a good income as a translator and then as a circuit comedian. Together with my wife's modest income as an artist, we earned a little above the median household income in Britain. We bought our first property, a tiny apartment, at the age of 35. Far from being unusual, this is becoming normal. In London, the average age of a first-time buyer is 35. In New York, it's now 37. The counter often wheeled out against this argument is that while certain aspects of life have become more challenging, young people now enjoy access to an immense array of consumer goods, electronics, food variety, and so on. But the problem is that some things matter more than others. Housing is one of them. Most people, for example, would not want to have children until they have a place of their own.
Based on what you guys know about the type of people who would vote for a Democratic Socialist for president, or not president, excuse me, for mayor. Based on what you guys know about people who would vote for a Democratic Socialist for mayor of New York City, based on what you know their goals are, based on what you know his goals are, do you believe that the reason that people voted for the Democratic Socialist is because they want to buy property and have a family? 1 in the chat if you believe that that is the reason they would vote for the Democratic Socialist, knowing everything you know about what he stands for and what his audience believes. 2 in the chat if you believe that that is not really correct. So 1 in the chat if you believe that the goal of the people voting for the Democratic Socialist is to buy property and have a family. 2 in the chat if you believe that is not the goal of the people who voted for the Socialist. Yeah, there's a reason I'm seeing a lot of 2s in the chat right now. Democratic Socialists want a post-capitalist society. Post-capitalist society means the abolition of private property. That means no apartments to be bought, no houses to be bought, because they're eliminating private property ownership. They don't want houses to be privately owned. They don't want apartments to be privately owned. They don't want land to be privately owned. They don't want you to have intellectual property. They don't want you to have a private business, whether that private business is big or small. And P.S., Constantine, because I know you don't fucking know this, because you're a midwit at best, bro. Another definition they have for private property ownership is parental rights over your kids, because they want to abolish the nuclear family because they believe the nuclear family is the social reproduction mechanism of capitalism. So there ain't no way in this universe that the people supporting Zohran Mamdani in New York, who are democratic socialists, who want a post-capitalist society. Post-capitalism means no private property ownership, and it means no nuclear family. There is no universe in which this is the reason that they voted for the socialist. Congratulations, Constantine. You know as little as I thought you knew.
And as any parent will tell you, having kids changes everything. If you can't afford to buy your own place and settle down, you're stuck in a permanent adolescent limbo in which making the right decisions no longer makes sense. I know many people of my generation and younger who, it could be said, waste lots of money on coffees, eating out, and so on, while paying rent instead of saving up for their own place. The problem is, though, that saving £200 a month towards a deposit on your first property makes very little sense when the price of that property grows by tens of thousands every year. This sense that the things you actually want deep down are speeding away from you on a train you'll never catch is the real driving force behind the popularity of politicians like Mamdani. Young people are open to socialist demagogues not because they've sat down and done the sums on their policies.
Bro!
They're open to them because they're desperate and see no way out. This, by the way, is...
As a reminder, if you believe that this is a perfect freeze frame for him, because really this is like, he's got Benjamin Netanyahu's cock in his mouth at all times. So this is actually a perfect freeze frame for Constantine. We can picture him getting ready to, okay, I'm going to stop with the Netanyahu references, but you know, I mean, seriously though, but what was I just going to say? We are about to spend the next several days watching literal meetings where socialists are educating themselves about socialism. So if you guys believe, Constantine, that socialists never educate themselves about socialism, please come by our streams on Friday and Saturday, because you will literally see them do nothing but educating themselves about socialism for like hours at a time, and this is just one weekend.
Always how radical and unworkable ideas become popular. The rise of communism and fascism in the late 19th and early 20th centuries was the direct result of the excesses of the Industrial Revolution. During that period, human wealth shot up, but so did wealth inequality, with the people at the top accumulating most of the gains. By the middle of the 19th century, the top 1% of people in Britain owned 50 to 60% of the wealth. Sound familiar? The rise of socialist politicians and the popularity of left-wing commentators like Gary's Economics are not the problem. They are a symptom. And until the real problems are addressed, it's Mamdani's all the way down.
Real socialists do not listen to fake socialist internet commentators, Constantine. I have no idea who he just named was, but it's not someone I've ever heard mentioned by the left.
If you enjoy these videos, you should know that they're available as articles on my Substack at www.
That's it. That's it. That is Constantine Kisin's explanation for why Zohran Mamdani won. Bruh. Do you know why Zohran won? Do you know why? Do you know why? I posted a video last night about this. You can find that video on the YouTube channel. You can find it on the Twitter. You can find it on the Substack. In this video, what I explain is the reason Zohran Mamdani won is because the Democratic Socialists of America activated over 30,000 individual volunteers that were active in doing stuff for their campaign. They trained over 500 campaign or precinct leaders within the campaign to manage the 30,000 volunteers. They have an additional 20,000 volunteers they haven't activated yet. I bet that number is probably doubled by now. So they're going to have even more and more and more. They've made millions of phone calls. They've knocked on millions of doors. They are profiling who their ideal voter is. They're activating inactive voters. Like, we saw this all on the call yesterday. This is why they won. It's not some nebulous concept of everyone wants to buy an apartment and have a family. And I understand that's a nice conservative story. And I do think that there is something to be said for some people getting pulled into socialism because they do think that stuff is out of reach. But the fact of the matter is real radical revolutionary socialists and even democratic socialists who would actively work on campaigns like the DSA campaign, they don't want private property to exist. They want a post-capitalist world. They don't believe in the nuclear family. They shit on the nuclear family all the time. We're going to hear that at the Socialism Conference this week. So what we just saw, like Constantine Kisin do, is just flat out unhinged from what the left actually talks about. The reason Zohran is going to win, and the reason, by the way, that he's going to become mayor of New York, he absolutely is, there is no stopping this, is because he has probably at least minimally 60,000 volunteers right now. And that number is only going to go up. And they are highly organized, and they've been highly organized like this for a while, and they've had other candidates and other campaigns to practice on, and they know what they're doing, and there is no organizing structure in the Republican Party. Eric Adams doesn't have it. If Andrew Cuomo runs as an independent now, he's not going to have it. The other people running do not have the organizing structure. The reason he won is because they worked for it. The reason he will become the mayor of New York is because they worked for it. Doing the work is a foreign concept to the right. And guess what? I posted this video last night. Hey, guess what Polymarket says right now? Guess what? I posted a video last night saying he's absolutely going to win. There is no getting around it. He's 100% going to win. Polymarket currently seems to agree with me. 70% chance on Polymarket he's going to win. I think he's going to win. The other problem too, and I don't think we can emphasize this enough. The main problem that we see with fighting socialism is that the conservative right has no fucking clue and is not doing anything to actively fight socialism. And I want to present you the evidence. This is a text message that I got yesterday afternoon, literally while I was streaming. This is the message and the vigorous fight that the conservative right is putting up against socialism. Do you reject socialism? A, yes. B, no. Reply yes or A to submit your answer and instantly donate $35 to the NRSC, which I think is like the Republican senatorial campaign or something, whatever, to stop socialism. If you just send us $35 right now, you will stop socialism, guys. This is our side. Their side is 30,000 activated volunteers in a primary nomination contest. Do you want to know why Zohran Mamdani won? Do you want to know why he will absolutely win and be the next mayor of New York City? Because this is the opposition. This is the right's opposition to tens of thousands of active socialist, Democratic Socialist of America, active volunteers in New York City. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I think he's going to beat AIPAC. I do. Because again, the DSA is... Did you watch the call yesterday? The DSA is completely activated around this issue. His volunteer levels are going to double, triple. There is no... And what they're doing specifically is they're reaching out to people who have never voted before. I don't think AIPAC's going to get him. I really don't. I don't think he has I think he is absolutely going to win, and I think it's not even going to be close. And even when it happens, I don't think it's going to be the wake-up call that the right needs. But I guess we'll see. I could be wrong. Certainly could be. All right, guys, we are about to move into our spy stream. It should be getting started in about 14 minutes. Before we do that, one more quick announcement. I talked to a priest, and I wasn't smited by God. But I want to tell you guys about this because this is actually one of the best interviews that I think I've ever had. And it was with a Catholic priest. And he reached out to me a couple weeks ago. And he wanted to have me on his radio show. And we spent a full hour talking about my work. And he did so much homework leading up to this. I got on the phone with him yesterday and he was like, Karlyn, I have to tell you, I spent 4 hours watching your How to Speak Socialist class. I read 2 of your books. I watched your Queer Marxism streams. And I mentioned this yesterday on stream, but I was like, the priest told me he was watching my socialism streams. I was like, no, I swear way too much. I don't want to hear that man of God are watching my streams. I don't want to hear it. Father, please forgive me for swearing so much and making so many inappropriate sex jokes. But the priest did his homework. Father Mateague did his homework. And it was actually, the power of Christ compels me. The power of Christ compels me. The power of Christ compels me. Oh, Lord, I'm going to hell. But no. Father Robert Mateague was a lovely person, and it was a lovely interview, and it's actually one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done, unironically, and I really hope I don't make him angry on one of these streams when I'm being a little hyperbolic, and I hope he has me back again sometimes, because I really don't mean any offense. It actually was one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done, and I would love for people to go listen to it, even if you're not Catholic. He actually had some great questions. He had the whole abolish the family thing all figured out. It was actually a giant Catholic priest W, and I really appreciated it. And so everyone check it out. It's actually airing right now, but you can listen to the podcast later, and I hope you guys do. And I'm going to make sure to post it over on the Substack and all that good stuff. But yeah, that was a W. You cuss a lot, but you don't take the Lord's name in vain that much. You know, I really have actually tried to get better at taking the Lord's name in vain because the Groypers gave me so much grief about it. Now, every once in a while, like a JC will slip out or something, but I really do try. I actually am much less likely to take the Lord's name in vain than I am to say fuck. So I hope that gets me some God points. Anyway. All right, guys, we are about to move into Spy Stream. As a reminder, I'm going to show you what we are watching tonight. We are going inside an organizing call in with the Working Families Party in Rhode Island called Run Like Zohran, where they are trying to get basically local candidates in Rhode Island to replicate what is going on in New York City. The call should be starting in about 10 minutes, so we do have a little bit of time. On the call, there's going to be a state senator, Tiara Mack, State Representative Sherry Cruz, State Representative David Morales, and the one I really want to listen to is Gustavo Gordelia, who is the New York DSA co-chair and a leader on the Mamdani campaign. And they're going to be basically talking about how to replicate that energy in Rhode Island, which I know is a small little blue state, but I'm really interested in listening to the campaign guy, if I'm honest about it. I think that's the thing I'm actually most interested in. And so we're going to be doing that. And we're going to bring that up in a couple minutes, guys. Now, as a reminder, when we do Spy Stream, I am going to be turning off the chat on the screen. You guys can still chat in, but the reason I'm going to turn off the chat on the screen is that this is my recording too. All right. So this is going to be a live presentation. We do not know what they're going to say in this presentation. We do not know what they're going to do in this presentation. We do not know if there's going to be technical difficulties. We don't know if they're going to kick us out. We don't know if there's going to be anything interesting said. This is a live presentation, and we are just a fly on the wall, listening to the things that the left says when they think people like us aren't listening. And that's what we're going to do. Because it is a live presentation, I will not be talking over it because this is my recording too. And so in case I need to make clips or something, I want to be able to do that. But I might type in the chat, at least on YouTube, maybe on Rumble too. And if appropriate or if it makes sense to, I'll display it on the screen to like say, here's my thought on it. But I might not do that too, so just pay attention to the chat. did we watch the new RevCom video? Are you saying the RevComs or the RCA? Because we don't really watch the RevComs. The RevComs are weird, but are you saying the RCA? We can watch it, but maybe not this week. Let's see. What else? Oh, if you guys want to send in super chats during the spy stream, I will honor the super chats at the end of the spy stream, but not at the not during it, because again, we're recording it for a reason. And so the RCA, okay, we'll put that on the list. We haven't watched the RCA in a while. We probably should watch that. That's probably a good idea. I also heard the RCA said that Zoran wasn't socialist enough for them. Someone told me that. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to be doing that coming up in about 9 minutes. Actually, let me show you what we're going to be watching on our next stream since we have a little extra time. So we're going to do Spy Stream. Spy Stream is going to last for about an hour. And then we are going to end this stream and we're going to start another stream. And tonight we're going to be watching the classic Socialism Conference episode from 2023 called Fighting for Our Lives, Abortion and Trans Rights Under Attack. And you guys, hey, thank you for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Does everyone remember Dr. Mary Bowman? Dr. Mary Bowman loves us. Dr. Mary Bowman was really happy when I took this presentation that we're going to watch and make clips of it and made those clips go viral all over the internet. Vivek Ramaswamy in this presentation, remember, this was in 2003 or 2023 when Vivek Ramaswamy had like just started his presidential campaign. Vivek Ramaswamy, as his presidential campaign is starting to take off, retweeted one of my clips with Mary Bowman from this presentation because she specifically talked about Vivek wanting to support the nuclear family in this presentation. And I tagged Vivek in it and he retweeted it and responded to her. And Mary Bowman was so happy to get that much attention on the crazy shit she said at this conference. Mary Bowman, by the way, is a professor currently at the DePaul School College of Health and Science. Thanks, Jay, for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. So we have this is a crazy presentation. If you've never seen a real life, like insane reproductive justice activist, that's what we're going to be watching. We're going to do that after Spy Stream. This is going to be our classic socialism episode for the night. And then after that, we're going to start our third stream of the day, which is going to be a supporter-exclusive Spy Stream, which will be available to supporters over on Substack, on Locals, Patreon, YouTube channel members, and Twitter subscribers. And then at 9:30 p.m., we're doing our supporter stream, which we're going to go inside a real radical revolutionary socialist call tonight. So it is a three stream type of night. The first two streams are going to be public. The third stream is going to be a spy stream, but you don't want to miss this one. If you've been thinking about supporting my work, sign up on the Substack while we're streaming. Get access to it. This is going to be a really good call. I promise you. Anyway, let me get the link up. Let me get the link up. Let me get the Zoom up for this call. Guys, as a reminder, sometimes there is a little minor glitch with Zoom where it doesn't want to actually let me connect to it when I do it. And so if that happens, what I need to do is I need to shut down my browser and just restart it. There's no rhyme or reason to when it does this. It seems to be random. I tested it right before, like I went live, everything was working. But just in case I need to disappear for a second, I will be right back. I'm literally just restarting my browser, and everyone cross their fingers and hope that doesn't happen. All right, let's bring up the Zoom. Okay, they're not letting people in yet. So we're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. No Disenraged tonight because we're doing the spy stream. Sorry, but it's a good one, man. It's a good one. It's a good reason. Hope everyone's having a good day. Please make sure you mount the like button for me, guys. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. YouTube is again doing the annoying thing of batch unsubscribing people from my channel overnight. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you want to be. We're just waiting to be let into the meeting. Yeah. Do you remember when Mary called us out on the live stream at last year's conference, where Mary came up to ask a question at the microphone and she was like, and I don't care what trolls are listening to me. And I was like, Mary, I haven't seen you in a year. Uh-oh. I just got removed. What just happened? Do they know we're streaming them? Do they know we're streaming? How would they know that's me? How would they know that's me? Huh. Huh. Uh-oh. 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 Let's try again. Unable to rejoin the meeting. That's interesting. Okay, hang on. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Wouldn't that be funny? Hang on, you guys can't see my screen. Well, we might have to give it up, guys. We might have to give it up and go home. Uh-oh. Shit. Might have to give it up and go home tonight. Well, maybe we can do something else. Maybe we can do something else. One sec. Hang on, hang in there. The pesky Working Families Party doesn't want us to see what they're doing. That's a shame. Hang on one sec. Hang on one sec. Stick with me, no one leave. Just gonna find us something else to watch since the Working Families Party has totally defeated us. Damn. Well, I guess they did defeat us. Are they streaming or something? What's this? Oh, I might have to watch that. Well, they did defeat us. They did defeat us. And I don't care enough to try this again, if I'm really honest about it. But hey, I guess they kicked us out. I guess we know the Working Families Party doesn't want us to see what's going on, which is fine. Working Families Party, because now we know to actually keep a better eye on you. I wonder how they found out about it. I wonder how they found out. Yeah, this is honestly why we do most of this stuff as supporter exclusives, because it cuts down on this bullshit. Because, you know, you would think that they're having state reps on their phone, on their call. What are they hiding? What are they actually hiding? That is the question. What are they hiding? What are they hiding? Hey, Trendlin, thank you. Yeah, it's probably Stalker Jill. Hang on, guys. We are going to do something else. Don't worry about it. We can at least just start we might end up just starting the other stream. Hang on a second. Let me get that added. We are going to do something else, though, so everyone stick tight. See, this is not just what happens with spy streams sometimes. It's just the way it goes. Like I said, we never quite know what's going to happen. Let me just try one more thing. No. All right. Well, okay. So here's what we're going to do then. We're going to stop this stream. We had a spy stream fail tonight. You know what? Listen, it happens. It happens. However, we're going to have a successful spy stream later. It honestly very rarely happens that we have a spy stream fail. And probably the reason we had a fail tonight is, if I'm being honest about it, I was being a little bit lax about security, because I didn't really think they would care that much. However, now we know they care, and now I know the Working Families Party is paying attention to me. And next time, when I sign up under a different name and email address that they're not going to know about because I have 8,000 secret identities on the internet, we're going to be able to do it as a supporter exclusive. And now we know. But the good news is, honestly, I don't think we missed a ton tonight. But the most important thing is that they care enough to try to prevent us from seeing it, that it makes me ask questions. What are you idiots doing? What are you doing, Rhode Island Working Families Party? What are you doing? Why don't you want us to see what you're saying? What are you hiding? Why don't you want people to know? So I wasn't actually that interested in the Working Families Party before this. And now I've just gotten very interested in the Working Families Party. But that's okay, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to stop this stream. We are going to go to the other stream that I was going to do today anyway. I was just going to start it a little bit later, and we're going to start it earlier instead. And we're going to go and watch a classic socialism video. So you're still going to get your socialism fix. It's going to be awesome. The stream will be on my YouTube channel. Let me just bring it up. I'll get the link for you guys. Of course, if you're watching on Rumble or X or any of the other places, you'll be able to watch it there too. But here is the link directly to the YouTube stream. I hope you guys will head over there and watch some socialism with me. You won't be sad that you did. We're going to watch some crazy stuff tonight. But that will wrap it up for this stream. Constantine Kisin, drag W, Catholic priest W, spy stream fail. That's all right. I so rarely fail at spy stream. It had to happen sooner or later. So I will see you guys on the other side, and probably about 10 minutes from now, and we'll start up the other stream and we'll have a good old time. All right, guys, take care, and we'll see you guys soon.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer. influenced my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for the people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.